You know, most people will tell you that you can't run or do any kind of endurance sport without losing strength and without losing muscle. You're gonna lose all your gains, bro. I competed in 2 back-to-back half marathons and then competed in 2 back-to-back powerlifting meets just to see if that is true. Spoiler alert, it's not. And in this video, I'm gonna give you all the details about the powerlifting side. If you wanna check out the half marathon side, that was the last video that I just published. So let's go. So a little bit of background, I've always loved strength. That's been kind of the bedrock of my training. I've always wanted to do a powerlifting meet. This year, after running those half marathons, I said, okay, I'm dedicating myself to doing these powerlifting meets and seeing what I can actually accomplish in a powerlifting meet, because strength is a numbers game. Are you stronger? Are you making progress? What does the number on the bar say? Kind of the same thing with endurance and running. Oh, are you getting faster? Are you running longer? Are you able to run the same distance but at a lower heart rate? There's so many numeric variables to judge progress. The idea of hybrid training just really resonates with me. Your performance is laid out there for you in so many different metrics, and you can judge success in so many different ways. That's kind of the reason why hybrid training has really become such an important part of my day in and day out training. Meet 1 was a deadlift only meet, and this was at WOD Wars here in Tampa over at Raymond James Stadium. I picked this one mainly because it was kind of like an intro into powerlifting rules, weigh-ins, you know, my weight class, attempt selection, all of that stuff. It seemed like the perfect entry point for that. My first attempt was 507 pounds, second attempt 529 pounds, and my third attempt was 551 pounds. My idea going into this meet was hit something I know for sure that I could do. Second attempt was something that is difficult but doable, and then the best lift that I've ever done in the gym was 555 pounds. Hit it in the gym and it felt great. I've got a video of it. It was smooth. I wanted to maybe undershoot that a little bit, I guess, with 551. So I wasn't trying to set lifetime PRs, I was trying to set meet PRs.
Oh baby! Deadlift fight!
Go Mike, go Mike, go Mike!
Do it! Oh, big money!
I made my first 2 lifts. I did not hit the 551, struggled with that one quite a bit. You know, overall, I was pretty happy with how it went. I wish I could have hit that last one for sure, but it just wasn't there. I knew I just didn't have it. I'll talk a little bit about things that I would have done differently later on in the video. Okay, so transitioning from the first meet to the second meet. The second meet was a full powerlifting, so squat, bench, and deadlift. So like I said, there were some things that I definitely would have changed in the training after I competed in that first one. And the biggest one was the taper period. So I tapered for too long, I think. I had 2 weeks between my last heavy lift and the competition on that first deadlift only meet. I took that and I said, okay, let's not do that again. Let's taper and just leave a week. So I lifted pretty much heavy all the way up until that last week. My goal going into the second meet was to beat a total of 1,200 pounds. So my selections all played into that because I didn't want to overshoot things in any particular lift, even if I could possibly do them. The second attempt was to really solidify my 1,200 pounds, and then the third attempts were all icing on the cake. Okay, so what were my selections? So for the squat, it was 170 kilograms, 375 pounds. Second attempt was 175 kilograms, 385 pounds, and my third attempt was 177.5 kilograms at 391 pounds. For the bench press, first attempt was 125 kilograms, so 275 pounds. Second attempt, 130 kilograms, 286 pounds, and 137.5 303 pounds for my third attempt. Okay, last but not least, we got the deadlift, my favorite lift. The selections for the deadlift were 232.5 kilograms, 512 pounds. So a little bit bigger jump than my first meet. Second was 237.5 kilograms, 523 pounds. So a little less on the second attempt, but the second attempt would have secured my 1,200 pound total that I wanted. And the third was a 242.5 kilogram, which is 535 pounds. Obviously, the biggest challenge when you're competing in powerlifting and the squat is depth. So if two of those judges say you didn't do it, well, then that lift does not count. And unfortunately on the squat, my very first attempt, they got me for height. I was able to squat. It felt great. I thought I was low enough. Clearly I was wrong. So I did not make that first attempt. I didn't let that bother me because I just used that as fuel. I was fired up. I knew what I needed to do. I got to dump that bad boy. So for my second and third attempt, I just went ahead and dumped that squat as low as I possibly could. And for my tall lifters out there, you know, hitting depth at 6'4" that's a long way to go down. That is a very long squat. That set me up to be on track to hit my 1,200 pound total. So after the squat, I was fired up. I was ready to go to the next one, which is bench press. My first attempt, the bench press moved nice and smooth, but you have to listen to the commands. They're very, very specific. So you get an unrack command, a lift, you bring it down to your chest. You have to wait until you hear the lift command. You bring it back up. And then the one that I missed was you have to let them tell you to rack it. So I jumped. It's called jumping the rack command. I pushed it up, no problem, and immediately, as soon as my arm started drifting back, I heard him say rack, and I knew I was already halfway to racking it. I missed my first one. So just like my squat, I was like, okay, no big deal. All I have to do, I have to hit that second attempt. I have to hit this 130 kilogram bench press in order to still stay on track for my 1,200 pound total that I wanted to get. I was a little nervous going into that second attempt. Thankfully, I hit my second attempt. And then I went up from there to 303 pounds for the third attempt. And I did not get that. I actually failed that one. It wasn't a rack command. I just could not get it up off my chest. I think I got it a little off my chest and they had to pull it off of me. In my opinion, of all three lifts, the bench press is actually the most difficult for me, at least. Bench press went okay. I wasn't mad. I made my second attempt, so I was still happy. I was still on track. Then we move on to the deadlift, my favorite lift. Thankfully, I hit every single one of those deadlifts and was able to come out with a 550 kilogram total, which was 1,212.5 pounds for my first powerlifting meet, which I was very ecstatic about. You know, competing at 42 years old, 100 kilogram class, I was still able to pop a gold medal for my age and my weight. Which I was very, very happy with. The 1,200 that I set for myself, that I set out to do, I did, all while still running. And I was not training anything specific for running, but I was still running frequently. And I did not lose strength. And hybrid training really benefits both endurance and strength. Obviously, that's why it's called hybrid. But you know, the stronger you are, the more you can utilize your strength in running, and the better you are at endurance, the larger capacity you build, the larger engine you build, the more you can use that in strength training. So you don't get tired as quickly, you don't fatigue as much. In particular, your leg endurance. You know, if you can run for 2 hours straight, doing a whole bunch of walking lunges is not gonna destroy you the same way it did if you never ran before. So hybrid training really does meld the two modalities of endurance and strength together.